we'll start right here. Okay, so I don't know what's in all of these articles that we'll go ahead and go through or tackle. This is going to be my last video regarding Yasuke. I might make comments. See, now I called him Yasuke. I'm sticking with Yasuke because I'm still pretty sure his name is Yasuke. Yeah, I'm going through this. This is going to be my last video regarding Yasuke. Only really 2 videos. It's just, I find this, all the controversy regarding this, I think I'm starting to find controversy regarding this stuff to just be dumb in general. I'm thinking back about like my old content that I've made before regarding controversy like this, and yeah, I think I just find it dumb. If you want to know my overall opinion on something, I'll tell you it's not that deep. Express my point, express my opinion, and then just move on. Like it's really not that deep. I'm all right. So I've had a bunch of articles pertaining to kind of like Japanese gamer feedback regarding the entire aspect of Yasuke being incorporated into this. And what people have said regarding it as a whole, and then I haven't read through this. In fact, reading is kind of difficult for me, so I'm gonna have this thing read it for us. I'm sorry if you don't like the way that sounds. It's just how I kind of need to do things. Please forgive me. So we're gonna go ahead and get started.
A new trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows has dropped, and this time it's set in feudal Japan, but some Japanese gamers are puzzled that it includes Yasuke. Yasuke was an actual historical figure that lived in Japan during the 16th century and was most likely of African origin. He would have also been around during the time period that this game is set. However, almost nothing is really known about Yasuke, which in part means is a great narrative blank slate to work with, but that isn't also without its pitfalls. You see, gamers have been waiting for Assassin's Creed to come to Japan for years now. It's the land of ninjas, the epitome of stealth. Yeah. So it has always been a perfect fit for a gaming series built around stealthy assassinations in an interesting historical context.
So, I do want to mention that I don't know her name. I don't know how to pronounce her name. But we do have a character, a protagonist, by the looks of it. Naoe. That is a ninja. We have one. They're in it. So there should really be no problem. There's you get to be a ninja. I don't understand.
Protagonist in Shadows is indeed a ninja from IGA.
Yeah.
This is a very famous and important region in Japan, and in many ways is the birthplace of the ninja. I actually used to live in...
It's an IGA.
In Myekan, and going to a Yeno castle was a lot of fun, not least because you had all these great exhibitions about the history of the ninja. So IGA is a big part of what the ninjas are in Japan. Forbes vetted for you.
I don't care about
Anyway, why Ubisoft didn't just stop with making Shadows about ninjas in a series where you are meant to stealthily assassinate people is somewhat beyond me. However, the issues start with the fact that the other protagonist is Yasuke and is now a samurai.
If I were to guess, it was, I think Odyssey might have had something to do with it. Because you could have, and Odyssey is the first one where you're really getting in. Well, maybe Origins is a bit where you can get into builds, but Odyssey is where you could really heavily get into builds and how you could be really stealth focused. You could be really warrior frontline focused. You can build your character however you like. If they made it to where every single character was exactly had the one play style of stealthy, I don't know, I could see people getting bored with it, so maybe that could be a reason why.
Samurai. Yasuke has been portrayed in a bunch of different ways over the years, in anime such as Afro Samurai and the more recent Yasuke on Netflix.
Okay, so that was him. Okay, I wasn't
Netflix.
Sure.
In these works, it was clear this was meant as entirely fictional what-if scenario, and they are all great. Having Yasuke depicted as a cool samurai was entirely fine, as it was clear there was a great deal of artistic license involved. The issue here, and one that Japanese gamers are pointing out in the trailer for the game and elsewhere online, shown above and below, is that Assassin's Creed is a series about retaining a degree of fidelity to historical events. That in other games in the series, people of that locale and period were consistent with history and their varying host cultures. So changing it here is odd and not in keeping with the other Assassin's Creed games, which is what Japanese fans are mostly pointing out online.
No. Is my rebuttal, I guess. The issue here, one of that, and one that the Japanese gamers are pointing out from the trailer is, okay, yada, 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 yada. Okay, so Assassin's Creed is a series about retaining a degree of fidelity to historical events. One sec. Faithfulness to a person, cause, belief demonstrated by continued loyalty and support. Let's go back into that. What did it say? Okay, so like retaining a degree of fidelity. Did I do that? Okay, yeah, it is fidelity to historical events that in other games in the series, people of that locale and period were consistent and with history and their varying host cultures. That the other games in the series, people of that locale and period were consistent with history and their very host of cultures. Okay, I think I'm starting to understand. But I think I find it stupid. So let me get this straight. The idea, the issue, the controversy is that it's just I can't fully wrap my head around it. Okay, so I think I get it. It's in each of the regions, the protagonist would be someone of an identical ethnicity associated to the region itself. And to me, more of what is going on, and I'm going to do this a lot in this video, I about guarantee it. Naoe is there. She is a Japanese ninja. She is the ethnic representation that you are talking about, that you are wanting in the game. She exists. She's a protagonist. You're playing as her. She's there. Yasuke is a co-protagonist that you will also get to play as. To me, this is really cool because this is the first time we've gotten to play as like any real like historical figure in this aspect. But what is it the aspect of like the idea of making Yasuke a badass? God damn it. No, I'm still really calling him Yasuke. This is Yasuke. Damn it. So is that the issue? Is the issue making Yasuke a capable fighter? Is that the idea? Is that the issue? Now, if that is the case, I would challenge this. And how I would challenge this, I really think there would be extensive downscale if he wasn't the protagonist. They could have him a badass fighter, right? But the issue here is that he's the character you play. Right now, all of a sudden, there's a problem. If he existed there and you ran with him and like you fought alongside him, you'd probably think he's one of the coolest characters in the series. About guarantee it, right? But because you're playing him, all of a sudden that's a different facet. Makes no sense to me. All of a sudden, we're applying this thing that we wouldn't have applied otherwise. But we'll see. We'll see.
So changing it here is odd and not in keeping with the other Assassin's Creed games, which is what Japanese fans are mostly pointing out online.
The biggest thing I would say that is weird out of this that isn't really done, if I'm not mistaken, now I could be wrong about someone, I wouldn't know who. But if I'm not mistaken, all the protagonists for the Assassin's Creed games were not historical figures. Yasuke would be the first one in which that is the case. I think they feel like they can add the creative liberties to Yasuke because of his historical relevancy. Because like I feel if they went with a bigger named person, then there would be all of these complaints about not doing everything shot for shot exactly the way that it needs to be portrayed. I think they get more freedoms with their creative liberties with someone like Yasuke, to where there's just lack of information regarding about him historically. But hold on one sec. I need to whoops, wrong thing. I need to look up something real quick.
Online. In addition, a massive edit war has erupted over on Wikipedia about Yasuke himself, which isn't exactly helpful either. It also shows that this is clearly a contentious issue and one that people aren't happy about in terms of history being rewritten. Personally, I'm not all that bothered by all this, but I get why it's confusing people, especially in Japan. Again, I don't know why Ubisoft just didn't focus on making the game about ninjas and they could have avoided all of this nonsense. I will likely play the game when it comes out this November, but for now gamers in Japan are mostly puzzled by all of this. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
So let's go ahead and go through like the posts that were like mentioned. We're gonna try to like look at this real quick. Okay, so here are some Japanese gamers and their grievances. Okay, so one is a game where black people massacre Japanese people in the Sengoku period is a perfect example of UBI. It's a single black person, as far as I know. I don't know why he became multiple. Is this what happens when political correctness is taken to the extreme? Let's see. The sword is in the wrong position. It's no good to have it open at your side. If you wanted to get super in depth with like the criticisms regarding like sword stuff, I feel like that's always a fun like little like video game like thing to see, like the weapon accuracy. That was one of the reasons why I like that, you know, like John Wick got a lot of good rap because of the work that they put in towards their weapon I just used the term correctness. But if you wanted to get super in depth with it, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't using their katana like more of like a last resort anyway? Shouldn't they have been using spears, bows, etc. more predominantly anyhow? So like shrug on that one anyway. I wanted Yasuke to appear as an ally. Are they mocking Japan? They should have made someone like Saizo Hiragakuri. Let's look him up. Well, see the issue is the historical significance, because if they fucked up in any sense, all of a sudden they're getting yelled at, right? But this also proved my point earlier. You're okay with Yasuke being in it. It's just it's crossing a line, making them the protagonist, which just weird to me. To me, it shouldn't even really matter, unless if the protagonist is just like, unless if it's like really weird. But the entire aspect of the Assassin's Creed game isn't about like who would be at the forefront of this era. It would be who would be in the shadows, unheard of. Maybe it would be someone that we don't even have a lot of information regarding them historically. Just maybe a little. But I mean, like, you offered a potential solution, but my thought process behind this is like, I mean, like, either's okay. Like, I'm not particularly offended by it. I don't know why you're particularly offended by it, if you are, if anyone is. Maybe I just lack the level of empathy required. I don't know. But let's go to this one. It's a bit disappointing. I wanted to play as a Japanese ninja. There is a Japanese ninja to play as. That they exist. It's my favorite game since I started with Syndicate and have played everything. So this is sad. But you get to play as a Japanese ninja. She exists. She's real.
Also manage Mecha Damashi and do toy reviews over at Hobby.
Right. We already fully caught up on that. Yeah. Okay. What's this one? I need to dive a little bit into. Let's see. Japanese reception thing. I'm trying to get. There we go. Japanese reception. Up to now, the main characters have been original local race and ethnic groups. But why do they become different races when it comes to Japan? They're just one. The other one is Japanese. Like, don't understand. Yasuke, who is supposed to be a sword holder enters the battlefield without permission, so Nobunaga-sama ends up holding a sword himself, which is ridiculous. I'd have to rewatch the trailer. I have no idea. This probably won't sell well in Japan. Everyone has a simple question: why do they use black people in Japanese culture? Maybe the people person thing is having a translation thing. You should change your concept now. This is wrong in both Assassin's Creed and Japanese history. I mean, if you wanted to get into the weeds, you could probably be that they were probably historically inaccurate in every single one of their games if you wanted to really dive into it. It may have existed in real life, but when a foreigner like this appears in a historical drama-like world, it just seems like a gag. This sense of discomfort is like seeing a Japanese person appear at the Boston Tea Party. Well, that depends. Was there a Japanese person there? Huh? Was there? Because if there was, why does that make you discomfortable? I don't get it. The mentality just doesn't work. I don't get it. If they existed... I don't... Alright. Why do they go out of the way to use black people even though it's set in Japan? If they wanted to use black people, they could have just changed the setting, but it's too mysterious. For the first time, I understood cultural appropriation. Oh my god. Crazy, crazy. But I seem to definitely be like one of the weird people that oh, I didn't even read their stuff. Japanese reception from Ubisoft's latest video game, Assassin's Creed Shadows. One Japanese user says for the first... Okay, yeah, we just read that. Diverse neo-colonialism we have here. Or, hear me out. It's possible. It's just possible that we allow... I know that part's hard. Hold on. We allow storytellers to tell stories. We allow our movie makers to make movies. We allow our video game developers to make video games. We allow our authors to write books. And maybe, just maybe, it's okay to allow them creative licensing. And maybe them doing it isn't them trying to rewrite history because they're doing it in a historical fiction. Just maybe. I am just utterly, like, baffled. Utterly baffled. All right, so we got other ones, other articles. Let's see what crazy things this one says.
I'm sure your hill has a lovely view. Assassin's Creed Origins actor comments on the vitriol surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows Yasuke. News. By Hiron Cryer. Published 2 days ago. The actor behind Assassin's Creed Origins Bayek has commented on the vitriol surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows Yasuke.
Okay.
Earlier this week, Ubisoft finally pulled back the curtain on Assassin's Creed Red, now known as Assassin's Creed Shadows, and its dual protagonists, Naoe and Yasuke. The former functions as a stealthy shinobi, while the latter takes a more straightforward approach to combat since he's a samurai and all. Historical evidence shows Yasuke was a retainer of Japanese daimyo Oda Nobunaga, which therefore made him a samurai in the Sengoku era. The modern
Yeah.
understanding of
Yeah.
samurai as having a rigid caste system is something that wouldn't happen until the later Edo era, which didn't even begin until decades after the setting of Assassin's Creed Shadows. That means that Yasuke being given a prestigious role under Nobunaga automatically qualified him as a samurai, despite the fact he'd only relatively recently come to Japan. Sponsored links. This game looks so real that it's worth. Despite the evidence, there are those that have rejected Yasuke existing as the first black samurai in Japanese history. Now, Abubakar Salim, who portrayed protagonist Bayek in Assassin's Creed Origins in 2017, has commented on the online vitriol surrounding Yasuke in the tweet below, pointing out that he went through a relatively similar hate campaign 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
I'm sure your hill has a lovely view, Salim adds in the tweet, referencing the frankly odd hill that many are choosing to die in over the matter of Yasuke.
Hold on. Is that what this is? Hold on. Abubakar Salim. Okay. What's hilarious is having been and gone through Assassin's Creed Origins journey and seeing the Yasuke / Shadows stuff unfolding. I mean, I'm sure your hill has a lovely view. Okay.
Yasuke's proven existence as a samurai. Yasuke didn't just exist by Nobunaga's side, he was there when the daimyo was betrayed and cornered by vassal Akechi Mitsuhide, a pretty pivotal moment in Japanese history.
Yeah, I know! Like, I've been wanting a more adept, romanticized retelling of such a moment. Okay.
Assassin's Creed Shadows, how are Japanese users reacting to Yasuke? Following the announcement of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Shadows, there's been a lot of discussion surrounding Yasuke, one of the game's main protagonists. Some overseas players are voicing dissatisfaction about the protagonist not being Japanese even though the game is set in Japan, and the matter has even escalated to racial issues and historical facts being debated. But what do
I do find it kind of interesting that when you think about it in like a crude manner, you're technically preferring a fake Japanese person, right? A Japanese person that never existed over a black person that did exist. And you're preferring it before you could ever even establish any sort of like critical opinion on the situation. The game hasn't come out yet. You don't know exactly what the story is going to be about. You don't know how it's going to unfold. You don't know his personality. You don't know his character development. You don't know if any of the story's good. You don't know if any of the gameplay's good. You know nothing. And you are offended that they didn't invent a Japanese person for you to play as. Although technically that could be what Naoe is. I don't know if she ever existed. I'm gonna look that up real quick. Did Naoe ever exist? Let's see. Yeah. Wait, hold on. I feel like I've seen that name before. Probably through this. I'm probably just doing it again. Yeah, so she might be your made up. Yeah, because like the issue clearly has nothing to do with the fact that like. So, I don't understand why everybody's pretending like Naoe doesn't exist. I don't understand why everybody's pretending like why the Japanese ninja doesn't exist as a protagonist to play as in the game. Unless if it's specifically because she's female. Which would be crazy, right? You can't be telling me that the only reason you're mad that Yasuke is there. I was not about to say Yasuke. You can't tell me the only reason you're mad that Yasuke is there is because of the fact that Naoe is a girl. Because she is your Japanese ninja, right? The idea, yeah, it's like everybody keeps pretending that like she's not there, and I don't get it.
Japanese people think about the matter.
Actually, it kind of seems like she's the one that's more connected to the order for obvious reasons, and then he's the historical figure that she interacts with. I think like a good example of other like the other ones that do this would be oh god, it was Ezio. It was the Medici, right? The Medici family with Ezio. Medici, yeah, they, like, Ezio's entire family had relations with the Medici, the House of Medici, and that's a predominant historical Italian relevant family history learning stuff location of people, right? That worked with the Auditore family to make certain people not be around anymore, right? So to me, what we're getting is the relation between Ezio and the Medici, but the difference being is that the Medici can actually fight and is a co-protagonist to the series, right? That is what's happening here. He's the historical figure, but he's able to fight, and you're able to play as him. And to me, that's really cool. And I feel like to anyone else that really gave that thought, they would also think that's really cool. But what the fuck do I know? Nothing.
Matter. Assassin's Creed Shadows is set in 16th century feudal Japan in the turbulent Azuchi Momoyama period that determined the course of Japanese history. The game will offer two playable protagonists, the female shinobi Naoe and the black samurai Yasuke. Yasuke is based on the real historical figure Yasuke, who is thought to have been of African descent and a vassal of Japanese historical superstar Oda Nobunaga. Following the reveal of Assassin's Creed Shadows protagonists and discussion heating up overseas, the terms Assassin's Creed and political correctness quickly started trending on Japanese X, formerly Twitter, too. However, a quick scan of relevant posts shows that discourse seems to be a lot more focused on the game's narrative and entertainment value than issues of race and representation. Users comment that choosing Yasuke was a good way to naturally introduce a protagonist belonging to the Order of Assassins to the Japanese setting, as making the assassin Japanese would have felt unnatural story-wise. Another
Do we have, is that I want to see this. Translate! I think Yasuke would be okay, and in response to the response, why Yasuke, I think, well, if the story is set in Japan and he's an assassin belonging to the Assassin Brotherhood, the most natural position would be a black slave brought from Portugal. Okay, I see what you're getting at. If he was set as a Japanese character, it would be unnatural. But this would be more of being part of the Brotherhood. If he wasn't a member of the Assassin Brotherhood, but a ninja. Yeah, that would be more of like actually making him part of the order itself because of how like broad the order was. And I don't think a lot of like American influence or just other, or not American, European influence, Western world influence into Japan really happened until, no, scratch that. Yeah, because I do think, if I'm not mistaken, in Nobunaga's time, he did learn quite a bit of other like stuff with like the culture. Can we do this one too? Assassin's Creed new game RP say, why is the Black Samurai in the lead role of the game set in Japan? There aren't any. No, seriously, there aren't. There was a black man from the Sengoku period who was a subordinate of a very famous Sengoku warlord. It sounds like a lie, but it's true. A debate between otakus overseas has started. Facts. Yeah. I about guarantee that's true. I about guarantee that's 10 million % true. I bet we're more pissed off about this than the Japanese people ever were or ever will be.
User highlights that with few historical records being available about Yasuke, he is good material, as adding to his story is unlikely to create contradictions. Japanese users also highlighted Yasuke's fascinating background. Yasuke was treated as a slave by the missionaries, but Nobunaga took him in as a vassal, gave him a residence, and even took him along on expeditions. The story is impressive enough to shut out the complaints about political correctness, and I hope the developers proceed with Yasuke as the protagonist. Another user comments that with Yasuke's tale sounding too good to be true, they understand why the creators would feel tempted to incorporate it into the game. On the other hand, some players did comment that a non-Japanese protagonist feels less authentic. As one user puts it, I'm more for it than against it, but it does kind of give me the feeling of traveling to a foreign country only to eat a convenience store lunch. If I'm traveling somewhere, I want to eat something local. In the same way, if I'm playing a samurai and ninja game, I want to play as a Japanese person.
Okay, again, Naoe is there. I'm gonna fight people because they refuse to acknowledge her existence, and I don't know why. Naoe's there. This Japanese ninja exists as a playable character. I get this conceptually, sure, kind of, but I don't think it's that serious. Even in that concept, because, like, for example, let's say you're at a Chinese restaurant, and it could be in the States, it could be in China, right? And so I guess just a restaurant if you're there. But let's say that the chef just happened to be Japanese. Maybe they were a foreign exchange student, happened to be there. I don't know. Maybe there's a chef traveling the world, like Food Wars. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But they're there. They're the chef, right? Does it really make your Chinese food any less authentic? Really? Would you even know? And then if you didn't know and you ate it and you found out, would that affect your thought process? I just priorities people have.
Another user comments that while they find Yasuke to be a fascinating choice, they would have preferred a Japanese protagonist since an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan is a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence.
Again,
although they also mentioned that the all-Japanese experience provided by Rise of the Ronin has warmed them up for a non-Japanese protagonist. Although opinions are varied, and perspectives presented here do not speak for all Japanese users, the overall tone of discourse surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows as Yasuke appears to be far more lighthearted on the Japanese side of X, as the below viral post demonstrates. Post-translation, Westerners, Japanese people must be pissed that
although opinions are varied and perspectives presented here do not speak for all Japanese users, the overall tone of discourse surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows Yasuke appears to be far more lighthearted on the Japanese side of X. Yeah, because like even they were talking about how like clearly a war has started across the seas. Yep. yeah, the frickin' Western otakus are getting upset over this. No one else really. But yeah. So this post right here got a lot of likes going on for it. Actually, more likes. Well, I guess more like, I don't know how many people follow him, but like more likes than the very, I mean, like that is rising though. I gotta acknowledge it, but it is more likes, like, right? Almost double likes, where the post says Japanese people must be pissed that the protagonist of Assassin's Creed is a black samurai. Japanese people, whoa, it's Yasuke, awesome. Why can't you just be happy? Just let yourself be happy. Other people are happy. And you know why they're happy? Because they let them make them happy. Just let yourself be happy. Don't let yourself be mad over something you probably really don't care about. You're okay. We're okay. The world's okay. That Yasuke is the protagonist. Co-protagonist, because there is a Japanese ninja as a co-protagonist. This is the dumbest thing. I swear to God. Anyway, love you. I'm done talking about this shit. Bye-bye.